everyone, welcome back to Video Game Classroom. My name is Patrick, and this is New Game Pickups. So because things have been a little slow with newer releases, I've managed to take advantage of this slow period and pick up some older games that, I would not have budgeted for appropriately prior to this, and I've kind of been a little bit all over the place. I guess that's not much different than most months, but let's just jump right into it. The first game I'm just going to briefly talk about because I already did a video on it. You can check that out. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. And that is, of course, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remaster. Beautiful game. From one of my favorite franchises growing up. Have a lot of great memories with it. I've almost completed both. I've completed Tony Hawk 1. I'm on Tony Hawk 2 and I'm almost done with that. And I am working my way through the trophy list. Just a phenomenal game. Wonderful soundtrack. Love the creator modes. Love building your skater, your park, playing online. And yeah, definitely just check out my video love letter if you want to know more about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. So this next game has had a lukewarm reception ever since its initial announcement back at, I think it was E3 2016. It closed the show, and everybody thought at first it was The Last of Us Part 2, and then it wasn't. And it looked like basically just like a Walking Dead, like a generic version of Last of Us, the typical zombie game. And that is from longtime first-party dev, of Sony first-party dev, Ben Studio, and that game is Days Gone. Now, Ben Studio made Siphon Filter, one of my favorite franchises growing up as a kid. That was really kind of the franchise that got me into stealth games, was Siphon Filter. And I have dabbled in this a bit, and it's more of the standard first or open world game where, you go around, you level up your character, it has light RPG elements, that type of thing. You are a former deacon, and you are surviving in a post-apocalyptic world filled with zombies, or freakers in this game, and you have to search for your missing wife, who you initially thought was dead, but there's a chance she might be alive. It's okay. So far it's fine, but nothing to really write home about, nothing that I'm gonna probably remember for a very long time, but I'm working my way through it slowly, and I'll probably get done with it sometime in the next month or so, and I'm not sure what they're going to do following this game. I know they said they want to make another Days Gone. I don't know how the sales went, so we'll see if they make another one. So this next game I got is part of a stream idea that I've got coming up. Coming up this next month is Halloween, or is October and Halloween, of course, so known as Horror Month, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be doing a lot of horror titles. I also had an idea for other themes that I could do going forward, and one of them was like a Grindhouse month on Twitch, where I'd stream various kind of Tarantino-esque, low-budget, exploitation film-style video games, and one that came right to my mind was an old 7th-gen game, and that was Wet, which is basically sort of like a mix of like Kill Bill and Grindhouse, like Planet Terror and Death Proof and stuff like that. It definitely has that definitely has that Tarantino vibe, and very bloody, over the top kind of style. And this will definitely be a game that I'm going to be playing on stream whenever I do my Grindhouse month. I don't remember enjoying this that much when I first played it way back when. But it could have just been a quick, frustrating night. I didn't enjoy the first hour, so I never played it again. And I'm actually excited to get back into it, and hopefully I enjoy it, and hopefully that stream goes well. Speaking of Horror Month, one game that I'm going to definitely be playing during that month, it's actually a series, because there's 2 of them, is Manhunt. I was a big fan of the original Manhunt back on PlayStation 2. Even as a kid, I played Manhunt, so that wasn't, I guess, the best. That wasn't the best thing for me, but I really did enjoy it. Kind of like a snuff film brought to video games. Very dark, very violent, and also, hey, it was stealth, so I was all about it. And I remember when they announced 2, and the reason that I remember when they announced 2 and being so excited about it was because it was coming to the Wii, and the Wii was seen as like the system for babies, and there were no M-rated games or anything too violent on the system. So here was the Wii's chance to shine as a system that could house these violent games, these edgy titles, and of course I had to pick up Manhunt 2 for the Wii. Now, the reason I got the Wii version was because of the things I just mentioned, hyping it beyond belief back in the System Wars forum on GameSpot.com. And I remember when this game got the AO rating and it could be released onto consoles, and everybody just losing their mind going, what? This game's gonna be insane, it's AO! And yeah, just so you know, you can't have an adults-only rating. There is that rating officially, but it's kind of like if a movie's rated NC-17, most theaters won't carry it. Same thing applies to video games. Most stores will not carry an AO-rated game, so it's basically like a death sentence for a video game. So Rockstar had to go back, cut some things to get it down to M, and they released it for Wii and PS2 and PC. I never played it because I remember the game really running out of steam before it came out, and it just getting pretty bad reviews. And its legacy really being built upon the fact that it was controversial, that it was going to be like, oh, it's AO, or it's this super M-rated game, but it actually kind of sucks. And I was like, oh, well, that's disappointing. So I never picked it up, and I decided finally now seems like the time to get it. And I also chose the Wii version because, one, it's much cheaper. If you get a PS2 version, it's like $45-50 complete in box on eBay. I'm like, nah, I'm fine. And also the Wii version, when it comes to consoles, is the better one compared to the PS2 version, and I think it's on PSP as well. And I decided to go with this one. I also wanted to try out the motion controls, and I've heard that it's got some decent visuals for Wii, and I'm actually really excited to play this. It's been a long time since I've played a video game with the nunchuck and the Wiimote, so I can't wait till next month when we dive into Manhunt and Manhunt 2. Next up, this game, I think, outside of Grand Theft Auto 4, is probably the best open world game from the PlayStation 3 era. So that 7th generation. And that game is Sleeping Dogs. And I got, or as it's known on the internet as Sleepy Dogs, I got Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. Sorry, I know it was a lot of glare. For about $10 to $12 on Amazon? Amazon, yeah. And I never had it for PS3 or 360. I think I rented it, and I really, really enjoyed it. This is like somebody that was inspired by the Grand Theft Auto, takeover and all that, but they did it right. They followed that formula, but created something for themselves. And it was just a perfect world to get lost in. It's set in Hong Kong. It's like a perfect encapsulation, or what am I trying to say? Homage to like classic Hong Kong crime films, and just so wonderfully done. A lot of it is focused not on like weapons, but your fists and martial arts, and just kind of like infiltrating the triads. And man, what a great game. Very open world. It's unfortunate because the company that made this, which was United Front Games, I think they were told by Square Enix, who is the publisher, hey, we don't want Sleeping Dogs 2, we want like an MMO or some sort of online game. And they made Triad Wars. And I remember like everybody else being like, no, that's the worst idea you could do right now. Don't do that. Do Sleeping Dogs 2. And instead, they did that game, and I don't even think it launched. It went into beta, maybe, and then it got canceled. And I was like, and the studio got shut down. Such a stupid, stupid move. And then it got leaked that they were planning Sleeping Dogs 2, and the stuff they had in it was so forward thinking. And that's one thing I'll just never forgive Square Enix for is ruining Sleeping Dogs' future and shuttering that entire studio. They could have really turned this into like a heavy hitter, even if maybe not for, year after year after year, like something like an annualized franchise like Assassin's Creed, but they could have made a 2, a 3, and I think it would have been a big hit for them. But they really botched it. But we'll at least always have Sleeping Dogs 1, and you can definitely pick this up pretty cheap on either PS4 or Xbox One, and it's always on sale on PC. A lot of times it's like $2. So definitely check out Sleeping Dogs. So this next game is going to be kind of a follow-up to last episode, and it is Dishonored 2 for Xbox One. I'm finishing up my Dishonored collection. I've got Definitive Edition now, and now I've got Dishonored 2, and now I've just got to get Death of the Outsider. For some reason, I only ever owned one, and then I rented the others, and I think I took back one. I don't know why. And I decided I like this franchise too much. I've got to start collecting for it. And I remember playing Dishonored 2 back in late 2016 and getting like the Ghost no kill, no alarm playthrough. Just an excellent stealth game. You can play as either Corvo or Emily, and it is just a wonderful stealth game. Wonderful franchise, and you should definitely check out Dishonored 2. So rounding out our games part of this episode, I wanted to talk a bit about GameFly sales. Now, I'm not an advertiser for GameFly, but clearly I have like 10 people watch my videos, and I know like 7 of them. So, but I do want to just mention that GameFly has great sales. Now, I know a lot of people love to rag on GameFly and be like, oh, they suck. They're too expensive. Their shipping is slow. I was a GameFly customer for a long time, and they are a great budget option if you want to play a lot of games but don't have a ton of money, or you just don't really care about collecting. They are an excellent service, so I don't really get why a lot of people hate them. And if you just queue things, if you remove everything out of your queue list and just put a new game in there, and you don't have anything out, they will always give you the new game. So people are like, oh, I never get a new game. It's probably because you have something old out, or you have a million other things in your queue that are older, and they'll get pushed up to the front. But if you only have that new game, they'll always send you the new game. You get a $60 game for, what, $15 a month? Excellent deal. But a lot of people don't know they also have excellent sales, and you don't have to even be a member. You just have to sign up for the site, I think, or you can just check out as a guest. And their games come basically brand new. The discs are usually in great shape, and the thing that they do is when they get the boxes from the manufacturers or the studios, they just cut them open and they just put them on a shelf. So they don't touch them. They're not beat up by somebody in their apartment or their house or anything. They just sit on a shelf. And then when they're ready to sell them, they just take the game that has been in circulation being rented, which probably has only been around 2 times, and as long as it's not in terrible shape, they'll use it. You put the disc in, the case, and just mail it to somebody at their house. And their games are always so heavily discounted. So like a $30 game could be like $20, $15. I got a lot of the games I'm about to show you for like half off or more. It's wild. This is such a great haven for like collectors, or just if you're looking for a newer game that you want to have complete, this is the option to go. They sell some of the older stuff they have that's much older is going to be disc only, but if you're looking at like this generation only, maybe even reaching back into last gen a little bit, they will always give you the whole thing. I've never had a complaint with any of the games I've ever ordered. And the first game that I want to talk about is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for Xbox One. And look, here, I'll show you. See, look, they just cut. All they do is cut the barcode, and then they just, that's it. Like, that's how unused this is. And one thing that makes this even better is that since games don't even come with instruction manuals anymore, you don't even need to worry about the instruction manual being beat up. But yeah, I wanted to check out Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order because it's made by Respawn, who's a very good developer, big fan of Titanfall and Apex Legends. And I know that I remember when they first showed this game off, and it looked kind of boring, right? It looked like a mix of like Metroidvania, the standard open world kind of like building up of your character, going back, getting power ups, and like a mix of Sekiro and Dark Souls. It looked kind of weird, but I remember also hearing that they showed off like a boring portion of the game, that EA wanted them to show this instead of the other things the game had to offer. And for some reason, I just knew that that was going to make it a special game. And it ended up getting great reviews. It's been received well, and people have called it like one of the best Star Wars stories since like Knights of the Old Republic, better than the new trilogy, all that stuff. So I'm definitely excited to jump in. I'm not sure if I'm going to stream this. I might just play this as kind of like a chill off-stream game and just have a lot of fun with it. But right now, I would say I'm also still kind of burnt out on Star Wars because we got inundated so much with it. But definitely, hopefully by the year's end, I'll get into this game, maybe around Christmas time or something like that. So next up is a game that I got from GameFly again, and it's one that I've been waiting for it to go on sale. And that is Resident Evil 3, the remake. The reason that I wanted this to go on sale was because even though I am a massive Resident Evil fan, I had not heard good things about this. It didn't get... And I had a feeling this was going to happen. I played the demo, and I wasn't too fascinated with it. It wasn't like that crazy, like overwhelming experience that you got with Resident Evil 2, where you're like, oh my god, this is phenomenal. This is just excellent. This just felt kind of rushed and strung together, and really just kind of copy and pasted. And sure enough, the reviews mentioned all of those things, and they also said it was only like 4 to 6 hours. And I was like, I can't bring myself to spend $60 on a 4 to 6 hour game. I always complain that games are too long, but I'm not going to spend $60 on a 4 to 6 hour game that I hear leaves also parts out from the original. I really liked the AI of Mr. X, and then in Nemesis, even just in the demo, it seemed kind of annoying, and I've heard it's kind of wonky as well. But nonetheless, I'm still very excited to jump into it, to get back into Resident Evil, and it's going towards my complete collection of the franchise on PS4, so I have a nice uniform collection. The only issue is, of course, we still need Resident Evil Code Veronica on PS4 physically, not just digitally. So hopefully that remake is coming soon, or it'll be on the PS5, and of course with it being backwards compatible, I can have that nice row of complete Resident Evil games. So this next game is one I've been hearing about, and it's apparently a sleeper pick for Game of the Year. And it's from a franchise I've never even heard of prior to this game, and that is Desperados 3. Now, I've heard that the only reason I bought this, there's a couple reasons I bought this. People say that you don't need to play the others to understand this game. It does help, of course, but I guess this might be a prequel. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. But they said that, yeah, you don't necessarily need to play the others to understand this game. But everybody has been raving about it. It's a hardcore tactical stealth experience set in the Wild West. And when I heard all of those things, and then I saw the glowing reviews, I thought, oh yeah, I gotta get this. And it was on sale. It was only, I think it was half off. I think it was like $30 on GameFly. And I'm honestly probably going to start playing that this week on stream before we get into our horror month for Halloween. And I'm very excited to play it. I'm very excited to jump into something that I'm not familiar with as well. I don't have much experience with tactical games. I've played a few, and I've enjoyed a few, but it's not one that I dabble in often. So I'm very, very excited to play Desperados 3, and hopefully it's as good as everybody says it is. So the last thing I want to talk about today is, just like last episode, we're going to round out with not a game, but a lore book that has to do with a video game. And it is, of course, from one of my absolute favorite franchises, God of War, and it's God of War Lore and Legends. Now, God of War Lore and Legends goes into detail about the experience of Atreus and Kratos from the game that came out in 2018. It is told from the point of view of Atreus. So it has a lot of notes in it. Things like the lessons passed down by his mother. It talks about the realms of Norse mythology, like Midgard, Niflheim, Helheim, things like that. So it is very cool to see the Lake of Nine. You can go in like locations in the game like Veithurgard, Fafnir's storeroom. Then it talks about like other realms. It even has just great artwork in here, but it has actual Norse mythology tales in it, which is really, really cool. So let me see, where is it? So you got like Norse lore in here. You've got like classic tales like Mimir and Odin. You've got Mimir's first job. You have the Vanir Aesir War. You also have even the tale of Baldur's Curse, where Baldur can't... I know you guys really can't see it, but trust me, it's there. Baldur's Curse, that he can't be killed, and that's actually, as we know, the myth that really inspired the game, because it has a lot to do with Baldur, and Baldur being sort of the main villain of the game. So it is very, very detailed. It even goes into the Fimbulwinter as well. So it goes into a little bit of like post God of War stuff, and hopefully it will reveal some hints as to what we can expect going into the next God of War for PlayStation 5. It also has a bestiary. It has these lore tales that they released via like podcasts prior to the game's release. Tales from Old Norse, I think is what they were called. And it just kind of helps bring a little more of the game's lore to light. Like Odin seeking out who's going to kill him at Ragnarok. Thor going on his killing spree of the giants. Brock and Sindri developing the Leviathan axe so that they can combat Thor's murderous rampage. Just wonderful stuff. And it also has like this nice squishy kind of like texture to it. It's not that weird kind of glossy plastic that that glossy cover that you find on most books that stains instantly if it's set down in anything that's not immaculate. And yeah, I can't wait to read more of this. Definitely going to be checking it out more, especially as we get closer to an announcement for God of War 2, God of War 5, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that'll do it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a comment, a like, subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm just starting out my channel, but you can find everything gaming here, from top 10 lists to reviews to love letters to hidden gems. I do quite a bit on it, and expect more new series or things moving forward that I've got in the works. Next week, you can also check out my video on Ghost of Tsushima, which will be an in-depth review, so definitely look forward to that. And you can follow me over on Twitch, where I stream 5 days a week, around 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern. I do a variety of games. Right now it's Tony Hawk, and I think this week we'll be doing Desperados 3, so check that out. And then moving forward, like I mentioned in the video, we'll be doing cool things like Horror Month, Grindhouse Month, Hong Kong Crime Film Month. So we have a lot of stuff planned. And of course, we'll be doing a lot of Cyberpunk 2077 when that comes out in November. So definitely keep an eye out for that. But yeah, if you'd follow me there, I'd appreciate it as well. But yeah, that'll pretty much wrap it up for me. I hope everybody takes it easy, and I will see you next time.